All right, I think we're
Hi,
recording.
everyone. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to VAR on Air, the biweekly virtual program where we cover information about programs and services from government agencies, local organizations, and significant issues our communities face. VAR on Air is a program hosted by Vietnamese American Roundtable, a 5013C nonprofit working to inform, mobilize, and advocate for our community on the critical and pertinent issues and that impact our lives. So this program streams live on VAR's Facebook page and will be broadcasting on 1430 AM KVVN radio station every Sunday. So thank you again for joining us. My name is Linda. I'm a board member, and I'm here to introduce both Christine Pham and Candice Phan, who are here to talk about our summer youth mentorship program called SEEDS. And so I'll go ahead and let Christine talk a little bit about what SEEDS is and what the acronym is as well.
Yeah, so we're really excited this summer, Linda and Candice, especially because first, this is our 5th year of hosting this program. SEED stands for the Student Engagement and Education for Development Success. So it's our youth program aimed towards folks that are in the high school and college years, so 14 to 24 years old, where we cover over about 7-8 sessions, an arch of learning about the Vietnamese American history, all the way from, the time of when our community first started arriving here in America, up through our resettlement, especially here in Santa Clara County, and then diving into, our civic engagement history, the rise of our political power in this region, and also all of the various social issues and, understanding our values as a transitioning community. So it's a space for our youth folks to come share their backgrounds, learn more about their backgrounds, share some of their concerns. But most importantly, SEEDS is a project-based learning program where at the end of their 7 weeks of learning various issues, they've been working towards a showcase. So for every year, the students will identify a particular social issue that is of importance to them. And for the course of the summer, they'll work on that project together. They'll decide the format of what it looks like. They decide the social issues of importance to them, and they start working towards a way to showcase that back to the community and think about, solutions and ideas on how they can address that. So that's probably the most telling of it, because it allows us to see from their vantage point what are the issues that they're currently concerned about and how they are working to tackle those issues. In addition to just being able to share with them, the refugee immigrant history of this region, the opportunities for solidarity building, exploration of really current timely issues in addition to the history, because we think that in order to address current day's affair, our students really need to have a strong foundational backgrounds of their own histories and their own communities, which isn't always taught to them in school, right? So that's SEEDS. And one of the reasons why we are important is that, we are excited this summer is that, with the pandemic in the last 2 years, we've had to move the program virtually. Even when we were able to come back kind of slightly last year, it was still difficult because there was a lot of hybrid, a lot of learning curves with being hybrid, and still a little anxiety about coming together. But this year, I think, we're excited to welcome students back in person. It's also our 5th year, which is a day, right? 5 years birthday. And I should probably add that, this program is essentially put together by volunteers and made possible with funding from the City of San Jose's Park and Neighborhood Services Division. So we're excited to be in our 5th year. And we're especially excited today to have Candice with us, as Candice is one of our student alums from our prior cohorts.
Well, that's amazing. So just to kind of clarify, so this is a free, pretty much a VIT summer camp, which sounds amazing. So it's educational, it's fun. I wish I had something like this back in the day. So happy that we're offering this to the community. And I know Candice here, you attended last year, and so I'm sure you're excited to kind of talk about, what you liked about it, what you got out of it, and are you sharing a little bit about what you learned and what you what now you can kind of take into your future and your life now?
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Christine. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. To be able to come back this year to help organize SEEDS 2022 is amazing. I wouldn't be able to have been here if I hadn't found SEEDS on VAR's Instagram accidentally and just decided to sign up. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I read the overview and I was like, this is so important during these times. And so I decided to join. And so today I'm here to talk a little bit about why other students should join, because not only is it so fun, but it's so engaging, and it really hits hard with all the discussions that we have at SEEDS, and during all the workshops, you learn so many different topics. And so for me, I think SEEDS is a designated time and space for students to be able to be comfortable, to have maybe some uncomfortable conversations. I know a lot of youth, especially Asian American youth, sometimes feel like their voices are suppressed just because of different variables, but SEEDS and I think VAR does an excellent job at allowing this free, open discussion to talk about their past, their family's past, and how they can navigate their future by reflecting on that past. And so that's pretty like an abstract version of what I think SEEDS is, this discussion, this great open space for that. But I think more concretely, SEEDS is a place for learning. So we have workshops, and one of my most memorable ones from SEEDS 2021 was when California Healthy Nail Salon Collaborative came to talk about their mission, and I had never heard of them. And when they came, I was so intrigued because my family is not within the nail salon industry, but I know that a lot of my friends and my peers at school, their families are within this prominent industry in our Vietnamese community. And so I was very glad to learn more from this organization that really prioritize how to keep our Vietnamese community healthy. And workshops like that really opened up my eyes to the very nuanced struggles that the Vietnamese community has, especially here in America. And so workshops like those were just so eye-opening, and I'm so glad to have attended the majority of them. I think I couldn't make one, I think. But I'm hoping that this year I can come back and see multiple students be able to engage in these workshops. I'm very excited for the lineup we have, the different topics we have. I personally am very excited for the professional development day. I think the VAR staff, very talented, very experienced people, and I think the Vietnamese youth here in San Jose should utilize these resources that they have. And I'm very grateful that VAR is opening up and connecting with people to come in the summer on Saturdays that they could be doing something else to talk to these Vietnamese youth. And so I think the participants will benefit greatly from just meeting these people and then learning with what they have to share.
Wow, that's amazing. So inspiring, Candice. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that, and Candice here, not only are you a high school student, but you've been helping us really be a part of the planning process and do even some of the flyers and marketing. So, your talent already is amazing. And we're so inspired by, I feel like, your passion and your energy, and even planning for the next stage, right, to be even better. Because I think we're always looking for feedback and really targeting our audience and making sure that this is something that they want to learn more about. And so I love how you even talked about the Healthy Nail Salon Initiative, because we all know somebody in that industry because it impacts us so much. And even the professional development, I'm always thinking like, how do people network? Because we're all trying to develop professionally in our lives, and I think that's something kind of constant. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That was so inspiring, Candice, and thank you for just volunteering. Your services. We've been very grateful with that. So please let us know if it's too much, because we definitely want to keep you around. So thank you so much. Actually, go ahead, Christine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in. Candice, do you want to share a little bit about your showcase project? Because I thought that was a really I mean, I can see so many families benefiting from your project. So you want to tell us a little bit about your project from last summer?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Christine. That was definitely obviously one of my most memorable moments last summer. So basically, I put together this reading list of Vietnamese literature. So books written by authors of Vietnamese descent. They were either born in Vietnam or born here in America. And I love reading. I'm an avid reader. And I just, representation in books is so important to me because I feel like readers, they immerse themselves so much in these stories, and I would love for them to have more of an emotional connection when they see themselves in these characters. And so I wanted, it was partly for me, it was partly for the community, just to be able to visually see the amount of work that these Vietnamese authors have put into these books that may not have been recognized. And I know that this reading list only went so far, totally understand, in this community, but I'm just glad to have it. And if anybody asks, I'm happy to share it with them. And at the showcase, I had the reading list ready. I had this QR code where they could access it. And then I also set up the books that I had and the books that VAR so kindly just gave to me for free. And I have this collection of books that I now get to read, and I'm almost done reading all of them. And
Yeah.
I remember there was this journalist, Vietnamese journalist, who came and she really liked it. And oh my God, I was so glad to have connected with her. And so that was just one example of that relationship that I built there at SEEDS with the community.
Yeah, so we definitely should probably, if it's not already, you can probably find Candice's Vietnamese American authors reading list, because she actually collected it from fiction, right? Correct, Candice?
Mhm.
She also categorized it with nonfiction.
Yeah.
For sure, I know she had children's literature on there too, and I've been using it as kind of my to-go for gifts, in terms of, using that list to send out gifts to friends who have like children now and are like, second or third generation Vietnamese Americans. So I think the list was really neat to have. And for example, one other shout out I wanted to give, they're not with us today, but for our very first cohort in our very first year, we actually had Cindy Nguyen, who joined SEEDS as a student as well. And for Cindy's year, for example, they decided that they wanted to tackle the issue of intergenerational communications with, kind of the overall understanding tradition, values, folklores related to Vietnamese food. And so they hosted a day called, Cơm Gia Đình, where they, Come Back to Vietnam. It was a plunge where they had, they shared the folklores around the broken rice, so cơm tấm. So they shared like the Vietnamese fairy tales around that. They shared like traditions around the table. And they invited the community to come have a community lunch together to learn these things together. So, I think like Candice said, like the possibilities are endless in terms of all of the issues that there are difficult conversations to be had. But what you do with those conversations and where you take it from there is where we're really hoping, to help share those skills so that the students can continue on. And Cindy actually ended up joining VAR as one of our board members as well, along with Alicia Leung, who wasn't a part of the initial SEEDS program, but basically was always there with us. And so both Cindy and Alicia ended up joining the board 5 years later. And just quick shout out for them because they just graduated from Cal Berkeley as well. So it's that pipeline and leadership that we're really hoping to build, and having Candice already back with us leading this summer has been awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing both of that. I think that again, I think that just for so many people, they're having questions like, wow, this is something really engaging, especially if you don't have any plans for the summer and you're thinking, what can I do that's fun, free, and educational? And even thinking about timeline too, because I know it's a summer program, right? June through August, but we definitely try to be flexible and whatnot. And there's incentives if you can stick around for the entire time as well. So maybe Christine, you can kind of talk about that, like what you can expect, right? When you join.
Yeah, so I'll give a little bit of the overall program itself. So again, it's an 8-week program. The first week we'll go really diving into a little bit about our own origin stories and, orientation activities. But, we're going to look at our own family history. And in particular, this year, taking that Gumyadin idea, one of ours project that we're developing is to dive in further into that project that the SEEDS students started years ago, by really capturing each family's immigration and refugee story and their journeys, tied with a recipe that's important to their family, right? Or is like foundational to their family. And the reason for that is, for a lot of our families, we left, they left as refugees or they left as immigrants with very little to their on their journeys, but they brought with them a lot of food. And food is like the Vietnamese language of love, right? And so we want to collect those stories with their journeys, but also with the food recipes so that we can share it. Because I don't know about you guys, but even at this age, I'm still learning about Vietnamese dishes that I've never tried, from different beings, So we're going to probably start with that for the first session. Session 2, like I think Linda and Candice, you mentioned, we like to work with a lot of different community partners to bring in workshops. So session 2, we usually will take the students to the Vietnamese Museum. It's right on center. It's in the Kelly History Park. And it's a museum led by Vietnamese Americans that have collected various, items over the year about the resettlement and refugee history here in Santa Clara County. Session 3 this year, we're going to be looking at organizing around Asian American community building. So, really looking at reflecting on kind of the where the Vietnamese community kind of lies in parallel with other Asian American issues, especially with the rise of a lot of the anti-Asian hate and violence and discrimination since the pandemic started. And where do we build solidarity in those conversations? Where do we learn from other communities? Where do we support other communities? What we can do for to reduce and or increase education around our own communities. And then the professional development panel that Candice mentioned, there will also be, conversations around food, legacy, and, arts and expression. And my favorite, because one, it's something that I'm really excited to plan, is we're going to do a Little Saigon, almost like an adventure around Little Saigon itself, so that the students can visit the markets there, learn a little bit on a little scavenger hunt, build some team building, but also really so that we can spotlight and promote our mom and pop shops that have, really added to the vibrancy of Little Saigon through their being there and through their kind of their economic contribution. So it's going to be a little scavenger adventure around Little Saigon with the students as we explore the various vendors in Grand Century and Vietnam Town, and learn about their entrepreneur spirit. So that's a little bit about the overview of the program this year, and so we're really excited. And as we sign up our partners, we'll be excited to share all those folks and keep building that community together.
Wow, that's very exciting. Thank you so much. That was very comprehensive, and I think it's getting us all really excited, thinking about everything from food to community building to supporting small business. It's like, what aren't we covering? So super exciting. And I think in kind of closing, in trying to learn about, obviously, everything that we're learning in this kind of a somewhat of a short abbreviated time cycle, like how do people really register, and how do people learn more about this? And is there an incentive, or is there flexibility if people can't make, say, all of them? Because we know that we all have really busy lives, and we want as many people to be a part of this as much as possible. So if y'all want to talk about how that works in terms of registration.
Yeah, I'll hand it to Candice.
Yeah, for sure. So to register, you can go to bit.ly/VAR SEEDS 2022. That's all in cap letters. If you could register between before June 11th, that would be great, but it is a drop-in kind of rolling basis program. Like Linda said, it is a free program, and so we would highly recommend that you register, but of course you can drop in. It's quite flexible, and each session, so it'll be every Saturday for 8 weeks, and it should be in a 3-hour time frame. And so if you just hit that link, if you go to that link and just register, you'll get emails about upcoming sessions, and and about benefits. There's VAR is actually planning to do mini scholarships for the participants. There are benefits if you attend all to the majority of sessions, but of course being flexible, coming to like at least one session will benefit you greatly, because I assure you'll learn something new.
Awesome. That's great. And especially if y'all follow us on Facebook. I know we update a lot on Facebook, on IG, even our newsletter. So, please follow us there. And again, it sounds super exciting. So to recap, we have this 8-week program starting June 11th, which is about 3 weeks away. So please register if you can now. And it runs through August. It's about 3 hours, right? So I believe it starts around 10 o'clock.
To 1 p.m. Yep.
Okay. 10 o'clock to 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's kind of all around San Jose as well. And so that's kind of makes it, I think, fun. It's not just in one spot, right? We're really making sure that we understand most of kind of San Jose and the history and the culture. So I think it makes it even funner. It's like little mini field trips. And again, we're trying to be really flexible. If you can attend all, great. There's an incentive to attend, right? We have scholarships and a showcase. But if you can't, we understand as well.
Yeah. So real quickly on that, just want to thank one of our community sponsors, the Vietnamese American Professional Women's Association, for providing the funding for those mini scholarships. So we just want to thank them. Yeah, I think this is like their second or third or maybe even longer year in terms of supporting us for that. So we would definitely want to thank them for that. And in addition to that, at least this is always enticing to me. Lunch will be provided to the students, so you guys don't have to worry about your lunches when you're hanging out, because what better way to learn about all these deep issues by breaking bread and having lunch together. So lunch will be provided to the students. If you have any transportation concerns, in terms of getting to the locations, like Linda said, we identify very kind of key areas in our Little Saigon community. So, like VAC or VASC or the Viet Museum or the malls themselves. But, to the extent that you have any transportation issues, we'll be providing some transportation incentives this year, from travel reimbursements to codes. So just reach out to us and let us know if you have any concerns about that, and we can definitely take care of that for you. And as Candice mentioned, we do have various swag that we give away throughout the summer. For example, Tibui's The Best That We Could Do is a graphic novel that's so excellent in terms of just helping to introduce anybody, honestly, to kind of the conversations around our family's refugee journey. And so that's been the book in the past. But we give away certain swag all throughout the summer for the participants because there's so much good things going on in our community that, this is a great program to be able to share those things to come through. So, so we're very excited for that.
Wow. So that's sounds like, so in general, the program is free, but that includes free lunch, free swag, scholarship, transit. So there's really like no reason why you wouldn't want to attend. I mean, I think this is even better than a summer camp, honestly. And so, hopefully, attend if you can, all of them. If you can just attend a few, but please feel free to contact us if you have any questions as well or concerns. And really thank you so much, both Christine and Candice, for kind of joining us to talk more about it, to really kind of illustrate how much fun you can have and how much you can learn. And again, having a safe space to really learn about our culture, I think is really needed. We don't see this too much. And so there's a huge need. And so we just need to try to get out the word. So please spread the word and let us know if you have any questions as well.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And Candice, maybe want to just give the bit.ly one more time as we close out then?
Yes. So it's bit.ly/VAR, so VAR, SEEDS 2022. All in caps.
Yeah, and SEEDS is SEEDS 2020. Awesome.